Few weapons in history have left as deep a scar on humanity as napalm. Its fiery trails lit up the jungles of Vietnam, exposing the hidden enemy, but also leaving behind a haunting legacy of devastation and suffering. During the Vietnam War, napalm became a symbol of both tactical innovation and unthinkable cruelty, embodying the very essence of modern warfare's destructive power. Its use reshaped military strategy, shattered lives, and fueled protests across the globe. From the thick jungles of Southeast Asia to the streets of Western capitals, napalm forced the world to confront uncomfortable questions about the ethics of war and the cost of victory. Before we dive deeper, why not subscribe to the channel for more thought-provoking stories? Purpose of deployment. The Vietnam War posed a unique challenge for US forces. The Viet Cong, adept at guerrilla warfare, used the thick jungles of Vietnam to their advantage, creating hidden tunnel networks, ambush points, and fortified positions that made conventional tactics nearly impossible. US military strategists saw napalm as a solution, a way to strip away the jungle's natural cover and expose the enemy. Napalm was highly effective at clearing vegetation, turning dense forests into barren wastelands. This gave US forces a significant tactical advantage by revealing enemy positions that were previously undetectable. Additionally, napalm was used to cut off Viet Cong supply lines, disrupt troop movements, and destroy enemy encampments. It allowed the US to penetrate areas that had long been impenetrable, forcing the Viet Cong to abandon key strongholds. Napalm also served as a tool to disable key infrastructure, such as bridges and supply depots, ensuring that the enemy's resources were severely limited. Its versatility made it a valuable weapon for both large-scale offensives and smaller targeted operations. For the US military, napalm symbolized control over the land, the enemy, and the war's direction, even as its use grew increasingly controversial. Methods of use. Napalm bombs were delivered primarily by F-4 Phantom II jets and Huey helicopters, which could cover large areas and target specific zones with remarkable precision. The bombs were designed to detonate upon impact, spreading a sticky, flaming gel that clung to everything in its path. The fires would burn for extended periods, destroying both structures and people caught within the blast radius. In combat zones, napalm was often used in combination with other forms of bombardment, such as cluster bombs and artillery fire. This multi-pronged approach maximized the weapon's effectiveness and ensured that targeted areas were thoroughly neutralized. On the ground, soldiers moved in after napalm strikes to secure the area and eliminate any remaining resistance. The US military also coordinated napalm strikes with large-scale search and destroy missions. These operations involved the systematic targeting of areas suspected of harboring Viet Cong forces, ensuring that napalm's full destructive potential could be utilized. Yet the widespread destruction caused by these missions often blurred the line between military targets and civilian areas, sparking widespread outrage. Fear and demoralization. Napalm's power wasn't limited to its physical destruction, it was also a weapon of fear. For the Viet Cong, the mere sound of incoming jets often meant impending death. The thought of being trapped in a firestorm created a profound sense of dread, leading many to abandon their positions or surrender. Napalm's ability to instill terror was seen as a crucial element of psychological warfare, weakening enemy morale and disrupting their operational strategies. For civilians, the psychological toll was even greater. Villages that had been untouched for generations were suddenly reduced to ashes, leaving survivors traumatized. Parents lived in constant fear for their children, and entire communities became paralyzed by the thought of the next strike. The sight of blackened landscapes and the smell of burning flesh lingered long after the flames had died, serving as a grim reminder of the war's unrelenting horrors. Fear spread beyond the immediate victims. News of villages destroyed by napalm spread rapidly through communities, creating a climate of uncertainty and mistrust. Civilians were often unsure whether they would be targeted next, leading to widespread displacement and the breakdown of social structures. Entire regions were gripped by panic, making the psychological toll of napalm as far-reaching as its physical impact. Symbolism in propaganda. Napalm quickly became one of the most infamous symbols of the Vietnam War. The US military initially justified its use by highlighting its tactical necessity, but the global media painted a very different picture. Graphic images of burned bodies and decimated villages began circulating, sparking outrage and fueling anti-war movements. Protesters used napalm as a rallying point, with slogans like "Napalm sticks to kids," emphasizing its indiscriminate nature. These campaigns humanized the suffering caused by napalm, forcing people around the world to confront the war's devastating human cost. The images and stories of napalm's victims played a pivotal role in shifting public opinion, both in the United States and internationally, turning napalm into a potent symbol of the war's brutality. The Napalm Girl, 1972. Few images have had as profound an impact as the photograph of Kim Phuc, the Napalm Girl. Captured by Associated Press photographer Nick Utt, the image shows 9-year-old Kim Phuc running naked down a road, her body severely burned by napalm. The photo, taken after a South Vietnamese airstrike on the village of Trang Bang, shocked the world and became a defining symbol of the Vietnam War's human cost. Kim Phuc's story revealed the indiscriminate nature of napalm. Civilians, including children, often bore the brunt of its devastating effects. Her burned skin and anguished expression conveyed a message that no words could capture: the unbearable suffering of innocents caught in the crossfire. The photograph was published in newspapers and magazines worldwide, sparking widespread condemnation of the war. It became a rallying cry for anti-war movements and a pivotal moment in shifting public opinion. For many, the Napalm Girl became the face of the Vietnam War, a stark reminder of the human cost of modern warfare. Nick Utt's photograph also demonstrated the power of media in shaping historical narratives. It showed that a single image could transcend political divides and force people to confront the realities of war. Decades later, the photo remains one of the most iconic and haunting images of conflict. Lethal and lasting physical damage. The injuries caused by napalm were among the most horrific of the Vietnam War. The gel's ability to stick to skin and burn at extremely high temperatures meant that victims often suffered third-degree burns, which destroyed not only the skin, but also underlying tissues and bones. Survivors required extensive medical treatment, including skin grafts and reconstructive surgery, and many were left with permanent disfigurements. For those who survived, the psychological scars were just as deep as the physical ones. The trauma of experiencing a napalm attack, coupled with the pain of recovery, left many victims struggling with depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Even US soldiers who witnessed or participated in napalm strikes reported long-term emotional distress, haunted by memories of the destruction they had caused. Ecological devastation. The environmental consequences of napalm were equally devastating. Vast areas of jungle were turned into wastelands, their ecosystems irreparably damaged. Wildlife populations were decimated and fertile farmland was destroyed, plunging many rural communities into poverty. When combined with the use of other chemical agents like Agent Orange, napalm contributed to long-term ecological damage that continues to affect Vietnam today. Decades after the war, some areas remain barren, their soil contaminated and unsuitable for agriculture. These environmental scars serve as a stark reminder of the war's enduring legacy. Legal prohibitions. In 1980, the United Nations adopted the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons, which banned the use of incendiary weapons like napalm against civilian populations. Although the United States did not immediately ratify the treaty, the backlash against napalm significantly curtailed its use in subsequent conflicts. Today, napalm remains a potent symbol of the ethical dilemmas posed by modern warfare. The story of napalm in the Vietnam War is one of fire and fury, a weapon that reshaped battlefields, destroyed lives, and ignited global outrage. Its tactical value came at an unthinkable cost, leaving scars not only on the land and its people, but also on the conscience of those who wielded it. Napalm's legacy serves as a stark reminder of the devastating power of modern warfare and the moral questions it raises. As we reflect on its impact, we're reminded of the importance of holding ourselves accountable for the tools we create and the ways we use them in the pursuit of victory.